The HDR setting being grayed out on your ASUS monitor often means the monitor isn't receiving a compatible HDR signal or has an OSD lock enabled. This issue is common on ASUS models released between 2018 and 2024. In many cases, this stems from HDR mode lock or OSD lock features intended to prevent accidental setting changes, but are sometimes triggered by hardware incompatibilities or software issues. We'll guide you through troubleshooting. To enable HDR on your ASUS monitor, your graphics processing unit must support it. This includes NVIDIA RTX series cards or AMD RX series graphics cards, which can handle the necessary deep color processing and HDR signals. The connection cable is crucial for HDR. You need HDMI version 2.0 or higher or DisplayPort 1.4 and above, as these support the deep color and high bandwidth required for HDR signals. Older DVI cables lack this capability and will prevent HDR from working. Finally, HDR must be activated in your Windows operating system. Navigate to Settings, then System, Display, and enable HDR under the Display options. This step ensures Windows can communicate HDR capabilities to your monitor and GPU. If these basic requirements are not met, the HDR option on your ASUS monitor will likely stay grayed out, preventing access to high dynamic range display capabilities. Some ASUS monitors lock HDR functionality when in specific game mode or other preset display modes to maintain color accuracy within that mode. Access the monitor's OSD using the physical buttons on your monitor. Navigate to Image or Display settings and disable Game mode, Racing mode, or any similar mode that might be active. After disabling, check if the HDR setting is now accessible in Windows. Outdated or corrupted GPU drivers are a frequent cause of HDR issues. Download and install the latest drivers directly from NVIDIA's or AMD's website. After updating, restart your computer to ensure the changes take effect. Then, check if the HDR setting in Windows is now available. For NVIDIA GPUs, visit their website and download the latest drivers. For AMD GPUs, visit their website and download the latest drivers. After updating, restart your computer to ensure the changes take effect. Then check if the HDR setting in Windows is now available. Your ASUS monitor may have an OSD lock setting that prevents changes to the on-screen display menu, including HDR options. This lock is designed to avoid accidental modifications, but can block necessary adjustments. To check the OSD lock, access the on-screen display menu using the physical buttons on your monitor. Look at the bottom edge of the monitor for buttons including Power and Menu controls. Navigate the OSD menu to find the OSD lock option. It is typically located in the System or Settings menu. The menu shows options like brightness, contrast, and color. Once you find the OSD lock option, disable it to unlock the menu. This should allow you to access HDR settings. Remember, the exact location varies by monitor model, so consult your manual for specific instructions. Check your monitor's manual for model-specific details on OSD lock location. ASUS releases firmware updates that address HDR compatibility issues. Visit the ASUS support website and search for your monitor model. Download the latest firmware update and follow installation instructions. This process typically involves using a USB drive. Firmware updates refine EDE profiles, unlocking HDR settings. If HDR is grayed out, try switching from HDMI to DisplayPort or vice versa. DisplayPort often provides more reliable HDR support due to better signal compatibility. Test with different HDMI or DisplayPort cables to rule out a faulty cable. A damaged or low-quality cable can prevent proper HDR signal transmission. Ensure the cable is certified for the bandwidth required for your monitor's resolution and refresh rate with HDR enabled. Use HDMI 2.0 or higher, or DisplayPort 1.4 or higher. Using HDMI instead of DVI can cause issues if the setup requires DVI for certain modes. DVI lacks the advanced features needed for HDR in some cases. ASUS Armoury Crate, if installed, has an auto-resolve feature that can fix HDR lockouts. Update Armoury Crate to the latest version. Ensure Windows is up to date as well. Go to Settings, Windows Update, and install any pending updates, including optional updates. Windows updates often contain fixes for HDR detection bugs, e.g. G36893.